this mosaic?
This mosaic is very special. It was commissioned, very special artist based in England called Miss Jenna Wise.
Yeah.
Specializes in mosaics.
Yeah.
And we gave her so much content from the opus.
Okay.
But she felt very much that she wanted to create the mosaic on the center of Mecca, the Kaba.
Okay, okay.
So it's her interpretation using a range of colored glass and stones to give her interpretation.
Focus on beauty. This mosaic reflects the beauty of Makkah. No times. क्यों कोई प्रॉब्लम?
हाँ प्रॉब्लम है इसलिए लेकिन बार-बार वो जवाब देने में परेशान।
तो यार उनको जवाब तो देने दो।
आइए आराम से आइए।
Yeah, please carry on.
Excuse me. So just give us a.
No, I'm asking. My question.
I am also asking. आराम से.
We can do one question at a time. No problem.
Yeah. Please, please carry on about mosaic.
No need to put that. We don't need to.
You are telling about mosaic. This mosaic.
It's about beauty, but I think it's about beauty not just of what someone sees with their eyes.
Yeah.
Her interpretation is from her heart as well.
Yeah.
And I think what the mosaic is trying to say is that yes, beauty is both external.
Yeah.
And like all art, like all forms of art, whether it be contemporary or historic art, it's about an interpretation of beauty.
Okay.
If you see.
Yeah.
The thing that we like about the mosaic is that an opus, the size, the scale, is about touching. It's about feeling. It's about lifting.
Okay.
It's not like an ordinary book. So with the mosaic, unlike a painting or unlike a drawing, you know, it's important that people can feel and touch.
Okay.
It allows, particularly children, like to touch and feel, and they start asking questions.
Okay.
And if you're telling an iconic story like Ibn Battuta's journey or Mecca, or a sporting story, or a historical story, the more questions people ask, the more you can explain and tell that story. And that was one of the reasons that we were very keen to have a mosaic rather than a piece of art.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, please just give us a brief description of that book, Journey to Makkah.
The opus, this is our first opus telling this in religion, in faith, if you will. And it's a story about the Hajj pilgrimage, which is an amazing, if you think about it, it's an amazing event that happens every year, where between 3 and 5 million human beings travel to one place. So to tell that story is very important, but it was important for us not to tell this story using fantastic imagery on a huge scale. When you open the opus, it'll be half a meter square. Open it's a meter, 800 pages. It's important that it couldn't just be encyclopedia. It's been done. It couldn't just be historical. It needed to be emotional. So one of the things we did is that we asked 70 people, old, young, men, women, one from 70 countries, so one person from each country, from all around the world, that last year were completing their Hajj, or taking part. And we asked them to tell us their story, tell us their personal story, why it was so special. You know, it could have, you know, many different reasons. And we included those. So it was important that we included historical content and never been seen before content, but it was also important that we could tell this amazing story in a contemporary way. So what you have with the opus, we hope, is a body of work, fantastic writing, emotional stories told from the heart, from people that have been waiting, some cases. I mean, there was one gentleman, 73 years old, been waiting all his life for this journey. So, you know, and as he was telling us this, he was crying. This is a very important thing. So it was important for us to do justice to that, respect that, but tell the story differently. And that's what the opus is about.
How much it will cost in Indian currency?
How long? It took us 3 years.
3 years. And what is the photographic content?
The photographic content is coming from many different...
the percentage-wise.
Oh, percentage. Well, to give you an example, we looked at our team in 8 different countries. So looked at just over 4 million photographs, of which we chose 2,000. And each of those 2,000, each one of those 2,000 is very carefully chosen for a specific thing. That's, you know, I can tell you, out of the 3 years, we worked out that just over 1 year alone, was taken on choosing each photograph. Choosing each, and for every one, the shortlist, I'm getting a bit detailed here, but the shortlist, from every photograph, there would be another 300 that could have had that. And I know that, I remember our research team, they spent 1 week debating and frankly arguing about one picture, why that should be in something else. This is the level that the team go to. It's very passionate. You know, it's important to them. So the photography and capturing the moment is everything. So we go to great lengths in terms of making sure that each photograph not only is correct in the context, but it tells the story better than any other photograph can, and that's what the essence of it is.
How much it could cost in Indian currency?
I'm sorry?
It is yet to be decided. It is yet to be decided. One question at a time.
How you selected one person from one country, but was criteria?
Well, it was 70 countries.
Yeah. No, but criteria.
What criteria?
Well,
I mean,
so when our researchers went to Mecca,
yeah,
and they were interviewing people, we interviewed more than 70 people.
oh yeah.
There were about probably
Is this
200.
A book, personally interviewed
No,
general people who goes to Makkah?
We interviewed hundreds
the
of
reality
people.
of Hajj.
Sorry?
I'm
Repeat.
asking you, is this the book only the stories of Makkah people?
No. You misunderstood.
It's a story. It's what in essence what this is story of Mecca, development of Mecca in a historical context and development. It includes great works and art and rare Qurans and pieces, but what it also includes, and this is we think was very important, why it's different, is that we wanted the story of the Hajj to be told through different people, from east, west, from all areas, from all diverse backgrounds, to tell us their personal story. And one person's personal story.
So you have been go through the Maulana, Maulvi, and all the educated persons, or only general persons?
This is the beauty of it. We have contributions from scholars. We have contributions from esteemed people, who have spent their lives, academic people who have spent their lives. So it has all that. It has very important people. But what it also has, it has housewives. It has there's a sportsman. There's a gentleman he's a car mechanic, and he's been saving up. He saved up for 4 years to make this journey. He wanted to tell it. So it's not just about the great and the good. It's about everybody, and that's what the Opus is about, telling their story.
See, how much of it is personality oriented, and how much of it is literary content?
How much is literary?
I mean, in the sense about the Hajj.
Well, it's all about the Hajj.
No, what I mean to say is, people, you said you interviewed people.
Yes.
Now that part of it is personal experiences.
Yeah, I'd say.
How much of that?
I'd say.
Is the content?
I'd say about a third of it, maybe.
And what is the other two?
Well, you have elements that are people telling their stories. You have then the historical, the factual, the development of Mecca itself, and then also, and this is the sort of, again, it's one of the key elements. We believe, yes, great writing is, you need great writing.
Yeah.
But if a picture or a piece of art or an illustration presented, beautifully varnished in a quality way, on a scale it's never been done before, if that can tell the story and you don't need writing, then it's there. So we have an amazing collection. What you actually have in there is an amazing collection, a curated collection of works of art that are dedicated to telling, or as a befitting Islam and Mecca. In many ways, I mean, so it's not just about. It couldn't just be an encyclopedia and a textbook.
Sir, many years ago they were spread in Mecca. Does this book contain those pictures?
Does it? What? Sorry.
They were spread in Mecca many years ago.
It does, and we also have a photograph of the flood that has never been seen before.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you make a glimpse of?
There was a stampede also at one time.
Just one second. What I want to to answer everyone's question is, what's so special about the India edition?
Well, Amit, I mean, we're doing different country editions. There will be content in the India edition that won't be in the others, and that will be unseen content. We're also the mosaic that you see here in the India edition. We're going to be presenting a beautiful photographic, limited edition photographic print that will be giant size, that will come and accompany the India edition, so people may want to put that in a frame and have that as a work. They'll be limited, so it's one per copy, signed by the artist. That will be in no other edition other than the India edition.
How many languages, sir?
I'm sorry?
In how many languages?
The Journey to Mecca Opus is presented, and again this was a first for us, in English and Arabic, sitting side by side.
What is the cost of Indian rupees?
Indian rupees. Well, there will be the whole Opus project. There will be two editions, two formats, if you will, rather than editions. Two formats. The large size here, which is 1/2 meter square. Then there is a smaller edition, which we call the MIDI, which to give you a comparison, this weighs 40 kilos. The MIDI will weigh around 16 kilos. Instead of 800 pages, it'll be 400 pages.
So does it have less content? The MIDI?
No, she asking about cost.
I know. I will come to that. I'm giving you a proper answer.
Is the content abbreviated or will be less?
Finish first.
Well, the story will stay the same.
Okay.
So the format will stay the same. If you think of it as a storyline, that will stay the same. So the same number of chapters, same, but in an edited form. So you get the same story, but obviously less content. But it follows the same way, if that makes sense.
What is the cost?
What is the cost?
Do you want to comment on the cost on the India edition?
See, the India edition is yet to be decided, but we've already, like Karl mentioned, the number 2 copy has been booked, and we'll be shortly announcing.
But we get any rough idea of price?
It should be anywhere in the range about $40,000 to $50,000. The India edition, because it's very, very, very limited.
You are Indian, you are just telling Indian currency here.
It's not. It's
and
not.
that is, I think, around $25,000.
The price has not been disclosed. The number 2 copy has just been booked. We have not disclosed the price at this point.
In a few days it will be.
It will be disclosed to the press what the price has been. But the limited.
We are asking about rough idea, yeah.
About.
It's not possible to disclose.
It will be not different.
Just you told $40,000 to $50,000.
That is approximate price. It is what
say around 20 lakhs.
That is correct.
And media edition?
Can I just say that one of the reasons that the Opus has a certain price, and this is true of the India edition, is that we never do second or third reprints. It's always limited edition.
How much copies?
The India edition will be no more than 100 copies.
I have a question for you.
100 copies. Now, when you deal in and look at limited edition, people can throw around numbers, but if there's only 100 copies, each numbered.
Divided into regions.
Sorry?
Regional as well.
Essentially, when you're only allowing 100 copies, every single one numbered, that's a very small print run.
If your target group of this book, whom you want to reach?
Well, it will reach people that we want to reach. As I said, young people. This may sound like a cliche, but it's true. You want to reach young people, old people. We will be making a number of copies available for libraries.
Okay,
that's correct.
No, but
because you have to for libraries around the country, and in certain cases for schools as well.
Let's say there's a demand greater than that. You said just 100 copies for the Indian edition. Let's say there's a demand. Then what do you do with that?
For the India edition, then you know, you see, when you start increasing and doing second and third editions, if I said to you, okay, if you invest in one of our 100 copies,
right.
And that could be because you're emotionally wanted,
right,
or because you see it as an investment,
right,
because many people buy our opuses because they see it as an appreciating investment,
right,
particularly in a turbulent economy,
right.
You know, one of the things that art, classic cars, fine wine, very stable. Now, so you can buy it for a number of reasons. If I then said to you 2 years later, so you bought one. 2 years later, we brought out a second edition. You're not going to be very happy. So we lose the integrity once we do that. So that once we announce the print run, it has to stay fixed.
But how have you calculated that amount? Let us say 100 or 200 or 300, whatever it is.
Through weeks and months of argument.
I wanted to ask you if you could share the Indian stories included in the opus.
The what, sorry?
The Indian stories included in the opus. If you could share some information with us.
Indian stories in the US.
Who is that Haji and where he, which city was?
There are. What I could do is, if we can, after we can have the office send you some extracts if you wanted to use.
They are on the official website
interviewed them all
and in
at
the press,
Makkah.
if you see. They should be there.
No.
Press release?
We
The press
interview them
brochure?
either at Mecca
I didn't get
on their
that.
way back,
And it's on,
and in
on
some
the
cases
official-
as they're
We'll get you
preparing
send some pictures. We'll get
for
that.
their journey.
In different countries?
We'll get that
70
sent.
different countries.
You went
If you
actually
register-
went to
if you register-
different countries.
I'm sorry?
People did, or they contributed, yeah.
Sir, you selected 70 people. How many are Indians?
We didn't select 70.
We have
No, we didn't. Sorry?
He's saying we selected 70 people.
No, there were 70 people, one from each country,
But including India?
other content, including, of course,
From the
including.
one.
I can't remember. There was, for sure, there's, of course, because how could you not?
So that would be roughly one person from India. On an average. From India. On an average.
At least one.
How many total number of?
Let's say on an average one.
I'm saying at least one.
Yes.
You shortlisted not 70 people, but what was the actual number of people you interviewed?
Well, you know, we had, I would say, over 200 countries, people representing countries that wanted to be included.
There were more than about 200 countries.
But when you only have 800 pages, you have to.
If you could disclose how much you invested in this project.
The investment on this project, what I can tell you is that the investment on this project would be more akin to a film budget than a book budget. That I can tell you. More akin to a film budget. I can tell you we've spent I would say, well, I know, multiples of millions, not hundreds of thousands of US dollars.